that's why the question was really simply put, how much support do you think Israel is losing? And I think it'd be respectful to everybody else who's been listening for 52 minutes for you to have a crack at answering that.
Because there's a huge difference between saying an accountability system exists and actually showing that it works. You can insist there are investigations, court-martials, and consequences, but when you're challenged to provide a concrete example, confidence alone isn't enough. Now listen closely, because James is about to put that claim to the test.
This is really important stuff. Can we prioritize the three things that you've picked out? So can I prioritize them? Do you mind?
I do that? I don't know what you're going to say, so I can neither approve nor disapprove in advance.
So I think the MPs, given that the MPs were just going to go and do a report, it's really of no interest that they got banned or didn't get banned. To the number of people who are likely to be killed. No, I understand. I'm talking about to the number of people who might get hurt or killed or whatever. I mean, in terms of domestic politics, there's nothing more important than the leader of the opposition siding with a regime that is punishing British parliamentarians for thought crimes.
I'm trying to, which I think you're doing as well, is focus on the deaths and the war in Gaza. So it's always slightly wary when people come on and ask questions I can't answer about. Do you approve? Do you disapprove of this? The phone-in is about the loss of credibility or support for a regime that is doing various things, and that includes killing 15 paramedics and apparently lying about it. It includes Israeli combatants queuing up to tell us about this so-called kill zone, this latter-day Hiroshima. And then because I'm a British radio presenter, I consider it highly important that the leader of the opposition has decided to side with the perpetrators of those acts against her own parliamentary colleagues. So that's why the question was really simply put, how much support do you think Israel is losing? And I think it'd be respectful to everybody else who's been listening for 52 minutes for you to have a crack at answering that.
It's obvious. I am answering it. It obviously is losing respect, but I think the amount of respect it's losing because the MPs have been not allowed in.
No, that's about Kemi Badenoch. So talk to me about Israel. You don't have to mention Kemi Badenoch again.
Right. So the second issue is the barrier, or the Hiroshima-like barrier that has been created around Gaza, inside Gaza, and that will have, I guess, a military perspective. There will be some military people in Israel who have said the way to stop Hamas and other terrorists from approaching Israel and doing what they did on October 7th is to have a larger border. And that we can argue about it, but there's a military process. Some high-up military generals have clearly decided that is the case, and I find it unsurprising.
But someone else could easily argue that it's ethnic cleansing, and the facts support that as well.
You can argue. I don't use the words. I don't know what the ethnic cleansing is. I can see.
Well, what it means is if you belong to a certain ethnicity, your house is going to get razed to the ground. And if you belong to a different ethnicity in exactly the same part of the world, but say a mile in the opposite direction, your house is not going to get razed to the ground by the Israeli government.
I think what people are trying to do is protect each other. So Israel wants to protect Israelis. If that involves having a larger border around the Gaza Strip, you're right. It could be on the Israeli side. You could have argued it would be on the Israeli side, but it makes sense to put separation. Further separation.
Why would you not do it on your own territory?
No. I'm saying it could have been done on its own territory.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you do that?
No, James, I'm only saying it's a military perspective.
No, and I'm only saying why wouldn't you do it? Because it's a good point that you raise. No. Why wouldn't you do it on your own territory?
James, maybe they should have done. Okay?
Yeah, but you're speculating about the military rationale for doing it in the first place, so you can at least speculate about the reason why they do it on Palestinian soil, not Israeli soil.
Well, if it was me, I would have done it on Israeli soil.
You're not an Israeli military leader who you think must have a clear rationale for doing this. You've already put yourself in their shoes. So stay in their shoes. Stay in their shoes. No, stay if you can. Stay in their shoes and tell me why they've done it this way round.
They've done it this way round because there is a supposed border with Gaza, which was meant to be protected and people were not meant to cross, and that was sorted. And so when people then come across that border, the Israelis will say, well, why should we give up some of our land for you
It would still be Israeli land.
for us to be protected.
It would still be Israeli land.
No, but if they, why would they would be giving up half a mile all the way around the border?
It would still be theirs. It would still be theirs. They'd be in charge of the buffer zone as opposed to taking it from.
They'd be in charge of the buffer zone, but they'd be creating their own buffer zone of half a mile.
Yeah.
You're right, James. I don't argue, but can we move to the thing about the
I'm following your agenda here, Gary. If you don't like how it's gone, we're welcome to move on. And now the murdered paramedics.
I wanted to move to the most important thing.
Well, remember, this is the most important thing today. You're supposed to be answering a question that goes right back to October the 7th, 2023.
Okay, but
and it's now 10:58. But you tell me what it is today, you rang in to say.
The people who killed the Palestinian medics, if they have lied, should be court-martialed. It's a straightforward thing. It's a mistake. If it's a mistake, and then they try to cover up the mistake, straightforward court-martial. Disgusting behaviour.
And how many of those have there been? How many of those? How confident would you be?
You're talking about these three. I'm talking. Let's concentrate on these individual things.
I have.
Let's concentrate. Right.
And now we're talking about court-martials in response to one of these individual things, and I'm asking for the precedent. How successful or how optimistic would you be if you were the mother of one of these murdered paramedics that a court-martial would happen and that proper sanctions would be in place?
If it comes, there's a Supreme Court justice system in Israel, right? An independent judiciary who have come out against Netanyahu on numerous occasions. Israel is a divided country.
That's not what I asked. I asked for examples of these court-martials of which you speak.
Sorry?
I asked for examples of these court-martials of which you speak.
I don't know them, but I know that people.
How can you have confidence in the process then?
Because I know that people have been court-martialed.
Can I have an example? I mean, not just an example.
No,
that's a bit hard. Well, okay. Well, I don't have faith in things that I can't prove exist.
Why are you trying to? Why are you trying to taint?
Go on. No, go on that last bit where you said this is what. What were you going to say then?
What?
You just said this is what. Right. What were you going to say then?
You are exacerbating beyond the individual circumstances.
Yes, I'm going back to October the 7th of 2023. I made that clear from 10 o'clock this morning.
Say again?
I'm going back to October the 7th of 2023. I made that clear at 10 o'clock this morning.
Well, but you were trying to isolate these three particular things.
Only in the context of the latest developments. Gary, we've isolated the three particular things. You've said that the court-martial response in the event of these lies being proved would be satisfactory. And I wonder how you can say that if you can't persuade yourself, let alone me, that you have...
So what just happened here? In my view, this was a masterclass in exposing the weakness of an argument built on confidence rather than evidence. The caller repeatedly insisted that the system works. He said people are court-martialed when they break the rules. But James didn't need a long speech to challenge that claim. He simply asked for an example. And suddenly, the certainty disappeared. The caller said he knew of people who had been court-martialed, but when James asked him to name even one, the response was essentially, "That's a bit hard." And that's the key moment. Because saying trust the system is easy. Showing people why they should trust it is much harder. James summed it up perfectly. I don't have faith in things that I can't prove exist. That goes beyond this one conversation. Whenever governments, institutions, or public figures ask for trust, the obvious question remains, where is the evidence? So what do you think? Was James right to keep pressing for proof, or did the caller make a reasonable case? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this breakdown interesting, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more political commentary.